Hi, this is Frank Carmody. We're going to do an Autodesk Inventor Professional 2013, and we're going to take a look at how to do a basic drawing today. So we're going to go ahead and create a part file to use in our drawing. Of course, Autodesk takes a second to open up here. So we're still waiting for Autodesk to open up. I'll say when you do drawings, technical drawings are a subject of a lot of discussion. You will have people that are lifelong draftsmen or technical drawing experts that can tell you could take an entire course on just producing drawings. So we're just going to kind of scratch the surface here and just give a couple of good rules to kind of get you started. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a simple drawing. We're going to make a 2D sketch. Say we're going to start out with a rectangle here. We're going to dimension that rectangle to be 3 inches by 3 inches. Right-click Finish 2D Sketch. We're going to go ahead and extrude that 1 inch. Okay, so we have kind of our initial shape here. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a we're going to create a shell out of this. So we're going to create a basic shell. Click OK. And then we're going to go ahead and create a work plane directly on the surface. Oops. Okay, and then we're going to create a 2D sketch on that work plane. I guess we really didn't need the work plane itself, but it's nice to have. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and create a kind of a complex drawing, and for the purposes of actually doing a drawing later. Or sorry, we're going to create a complex shape for the purpose of creating a drawing later. Let's go ahead and actually create it on the back here. So we're going to try to get it kind of in the middle of the shape. Oops. And we're going to go ahead and project geometry here. And we're going to click on the bottom to get it perfectly straight. Okay, we're going to put it right in the middle. And we're going to create a 2-inch circle there. Okay, next thing we're going to do here is we're going to create a few lines. Whoops, we're actually going to create a second circle that's concentric. That circle is only going to be a 1/2 inch. We're going to dimension it so. Okay, now we're going to create a couple of lines here that are going to assist us in our drawing. Oops. Okay, we're actually going to make that parallel. Okay, so we're going to continue creating our circle here. Notice that we really created kind of a center line. We actually needed that to go all the way down to the bottom there. I'm going to right-click OK. All right, now I'm going to start trimming off parts of this drawing that are necessary for me to trim. Whoops. And that was a problem. I needed my line actually to go all the way through the circle. Sure it's okay. All right, now we're going to start trimming things off here. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here, and now we're going to right-click OK, right-click Finish 2D Sketch. And we're going to actually rotate that shape inside the box here. Okay, so you can imagine the type of shape that that's going to result in. So we're going to take this, whoops, and I have to go back in and re-edit the sketch here. We want to create a hidden shape inside of the box. So as a result, I'm kind of it's a little bit difficult to do sometimes. So it's actually going to require 3 circles. There we go. Okay, here we are. Okay, there we have it. Okay, so we're going to actually create space inside of this kind of half dome we're going to draw here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and revolve. Oops, and I still didn't get it. So we're going to go ahead and edit sketch 2 again. We're going to go ahead and trim again. One last line here. There we are. Right click OK, right click finish 2D sketch. Now we're going to revolve. And it's going to be 180 degrees. Oops, we still have to choose our axis. There we are. Okay, so notice right now that's going to give us a kind of a ball all the way around. And that's fine. Let's go ahead and leave it like that. We could just do 180 degrees. Okay, so notice that we essentially have this hidden shape inside of our object here that's necessary for whatever it is that we're doing. So let's go ahead and we're going to save this off. We're going to save this IPT, and then we're going to create a technical drawing from this piece. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save off this part. So we're going to call it lesson 14, and we're going to call it part. Let's call it box. Okay, so we have our part file. Now, in drawings, parts and assemblies essentially kind of work in a similar fashion. In some ways. Actually, let's go ahead and just do the drawing now. There are a couple things that you need that you can't do when you're using just a part. You need an assembly to do it, but that can be part of a separate video. So let's go ahead and do drawing. So we're doing new drawing. Okay, now when you first open up a drawing, you're going to notice a couple of things. One is that, or you should notice a couple of things. One is that you still have your browser bar on the left, and then you have a couple of default items that come up. Okay, and these come from technical drawing, obviously. So your border, your ANSI kind of title block down here. These are all things that are in kind of a standard drawing. Now, if you are going to keep all of your drawings electronic, or you have a very large printer, you may just want to keep this as is. Okay. However, if you're looking to print out these drawings on a regular kind of standard 8.5 by 11 printer, then you need to do a couple of things. Okay. First of all, we're going to go ahead and right-click on Sheet 1, and we're going to click Edit Sheet. Okay. Now, if we change the size from size C to size A, that is actually going to change the size of our paper down to 8.5 by 11. Size C is a very large piece of paper. If you try to print that on a regular printer, it will come out as multiple sheets. Okay, now you can see that our title block and our border really don't fit on this page. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's just delete those for now. Okay, so when you're first starting out, just go ahead and delete them. If you get more advanced, you may want to leave them in. You can even create your own custom borders and title blocks. Okay, so there we have it. And we're going to go ahead and save this as... I always run into my naming convention here, so let me go find out what our name is. Okay, so this is going to be Autodesk Inventor 2013 Lesson 14, drawing. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and save it. All right, now let's go ahead and just create kind of our basic drawing here. So we're going to go ahead and click Base, and this is our base view. Now you'll notice on my screen that the base view isn't showing up very well, and that's fine. You'll also notice, or hopefully you'll notice, down at the bottom here, not sure why my browser bar is not going away. Down at the bottom here, you'll notice that my IPT was already open. And if your IPT is already open, it will automatically select in this box right here. Okay, but let's go ahead and click Cancel. And let's close that IPT and get into a realistic situation where we don't have anything open. So let's go ahead and click Base. Now we have to go and select our documents. So we're going to go ahead and select our IPT. We could be choosing an assembly just as well. We're going to go ahead and click Open. Now we're going to get kind of this preview of how the current view is going to look. And the way that you would choose which view you're going to do, and if we change the style, we'll get a little bit of a different look here. Or we should. The style right now is to have hidden lines on it. You can choose any view, and how you would choose this is that, now all of our views kind of look the same except for the top, but how you would choose this is you want the most descriptive view down in the corner. Okay, so the most descriptive profile you want to be in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, and that's what we're going to call the front. Now the front, depending on how you drew your IPT, might be any side that you started with. But the front in the drawing, and that's the drawing on the image on the bottom left-hand corner of your drawing, should be the most descriptive profile view. Okay, so if that's the front, back, left, right, top, whatever it is, it should be the most descriptive view. Okay, now there are a couple different options here. First is the style. Okay, so this style shows hidden lines, and this is a simple line drawing. This is a shaded drawing, so this is not what we want here. The next thing we have here is the scale. Now the scale should be based upon the size of your paper, or what you want to do with it. So if you're planning to print this out and create a 100% accurate printout of your drawing or your part, then you would want to keep the scale as 1:1. You can also scale it down or scale it up. Okay, so at half size, you'll notice that the drawing is now half size, even though you can't see it very well. And if we scale it up, notice we can get this, the scale can become very large. Okay, so we're just going to, in this case, we're just going to keep it as 1:1. Okay, now, when you're ready to click, you're going to go ahead and click right where you want that first drawing. Okay. Now, there are a couple different ways to create auxiliary views, okay, and those are the different views of your drawing. Now, once we click the first click, we just want to move our mouse up. We click again. We move our mouse over to the right-hand corner. We click again, and we move our mouse up to the top right corner, and we click a fourth time. Then we right-click, and we click Create. Okay, and that gets us exactly what we wanted to have. So we have our front, top, and right side views, okay, just as is. Okay, now this is kind of your standard technical drawing setup here. We have our most descriptive view, which we're calling the front, we have our top, and we have our right side view. Okay, let's go ahead and Control Z, okay, and I'm going to show you a different way to do this. Okay, so let's say that we just clicked once and we right-clicked and clicked Create. Okay, so that is that's a situation you might be in. So if we just have one drawing, we can create projected views. So we click on projected, we click once, then we can go ahead and create those other views. Okay, just like that. Right click and click Create. Okay. All right, now we can go ahead and we can click on Annotate. And what we can do is we can create we can retrieve dimensions. Okay, so basically these views really need to be dimensioned. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can click retrieve dimensions if we wanted to, and this will go back into the IPT and okay, so we can just go in here and click and just start retrieving these dimensions if we want to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click Cancel. In general, you just want to go ahead and just use dimensions that are on your that are a part of your drawing. Now, dimensioning is by far the most complicated part of these drawings. So the idea here is that you want to show the dimension where it's most descriptive, meaning you want to choose where you put your dimensions, and you never want to have this, you don't never want to over describe, so you don't want to have the same dimension occurring twice. So for example, if I put this dimension here, okay, so if I put this dimension here, I might not put it over here, right? Okay, I wouldn't dimension this side because it's the same side, right? Okay. Okay, I can go ahead and dimension this up. Okay, I can uncheck edit dimension when created. Okay, and notice that notice that as I dimension here, okay, I can go ahead and dimension the radius of that internal circle. I can go ahead and I can dimension the radius of this circle and the outside circle. Okay, so essentially what I'm doing is I'm sitting here and I'm adding more and more dimensions to the drawing. Okay. All right, and I can do the same thing at the top here. Okay, and notice that we're really going, it's kind of an artistic process as well, right? Because what we have is we really have, you know, a drawing essentially. Okay, the other thing that you want to be careful of, okay, and really this is where it becomes art and a science, right? Is that so let's take this line for example. So this is 3 inches long total. Now it's a question as to whether I should, oops. Okay, so in this case, if I put the 0.1 dimension, the 2.8 dimension, do I need the other 0.1 dimension over here? And the answer to that is no, because you can figure that out from the dimensions on the page. So that's where really the opinion part of this dimensioning comes in. Okay, so we kind of have the dimensions as we have them here. Of course, I can continue to add dimensions. Okay, so and notice I got my it's really quite interesting there. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, so that's our first drawing. Now inside of a drawing you can have multiple sheets. Okay, and we can go ahead and create a new sheet. Okay, so this is sheet 2. Okay, so I can open up sheet 2. I can open up sheet 1, right, if I double click on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to sheet 2. Okay, so this is a way you could have, for example, if you had an assembly, you could put an assembly in one drawing and then do multiple parts overall. So let's go ahead and we're going to just kind of call out a couple of these things here. So let's go ahead and make a base view. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go down to our box again. Click open. Okay. And in this case, we really wanted this top version to be on the bottom left here. So let's go ahead and Control Z. Okay, we're going to redo our base view. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a section here. Okay, right click, click OK. All right, so we have kind of our top view here. All right, and now we want to go ahead and create a section. So I click on section, and I can, whoops, click, pull down and click again, right click and continue. Oops. Okay, so that's an example of a section. So essentially what I've done here is I've created this, see this is AA section, scale 1 to 1. So essentially what I've done here is I've created a cut through showing exactly what the interior of this circle looks like. Okay, and I could do the same thing again here. Okay, so that would be a good example of using that section there to fully describe an object. Okay. All right, let's do one last one here. We're going to go ahead and do new sheet. Okay, so we're in sheet 3. We're going to do the same base. Box again. Okay. This time we're going to also do the top view. Okay. Right click, click OK. And we're going to go ahead and do a detail view. Okay, so we're going to go click on detail. Oh, and I need to click detail again. Okay, we're actually going to select a portion of the drawing to detail. And we can make this as large as we want. So this would be a situation where you have a particular piece of the object that you want to show in greater detail. Okay, so we took this part of the drawing and we want to pull it out and show in greater detail up here. And I can move these things around. Notice if you want to move things around in your drawing, you mouse over them, go on the red dotted line and then move them. Okay, so in this case, say I want to bring this down. Okay. Okay. All right. Last thing we're going to do here is we're going to create what's called a parts list. Now, this would be better used for a assembly, but we can go ahead and create it just in our sheet here. So we're going to do a base view, just to show an isometric drawing of our object. And click OK. All right, we're going to pull it up here. Okay, now in general, what we do is we'd go ahead and put we choose an assembly file. In fact, so let's go ahead and do that. You have an assemblies available to you, so let's go ahead and use a different assembly file. Any assembly file will do here. We're just going to use one from a different lesson. I'm going to go ahead and click open. I'm going to go ahead and click. Notice that it takes a while to open it. Right click OK. And we're going to come up here. Let's say that I wanted to go ahead and have this shaded. I can double click on it. I can change the style. Click OK and notice that it goes ahead and is shaded. I can also double click on it and I can actually change. I can move this out of the way and I can actually change. Oh, I can't change it. Cancel there. Let's say that I'm So let's say I'm satisfied with that, even though I'm really not. It would be nicer if we could see the balls of the wheel there. But just for an example's sake, we can say that we're satisfied with it. So let's go ahead and we're going to create a parts list. Okay, so we're going to click on parts. We're going to select view. Okay, that's this view. All right. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. And we're going to go ahead and click to place the parts list. And notice that you can go ahead and make it larger here or smaller. Okay, there we have it. Okay, so we've created a couple things here. We've done sheet 1. We had kind of a standard technical drawing with dimensioning. Sheet 2, we did sections of a particular part. Sheet 3, we did a detail view of a part of a one specific area of a particular part, and on sheet 4 we used one of the assemblies that we've made previously and we created a parts list for that assembly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this drawing, and I'm going to say yes to all, and OK. And that's it. Good luck.